Warning, the majority of crypto investors are about to make one of the worst mistakes possible at the most important time. Fear, panic, and worry is spreading across the crypto markets, like it does every single time the crypto prices are about to start a significant recovery. This time is exactly the same. According to this liquidation map, as well as Bitcoin and altcoin prices, the bottom is probably in and we're ready to start heading higher. On top of that, this one catalyst still remains that will ignite this crypto bull market like never before. This repo chart explains why Bitcoin's been going up since December 2022, but I found the real answer as to why altcoins have been lagging behind. This one is an incredibly important video. If you're panicked, fearful, don't know what's going on, hit the like button and I'll tell you. Now guys, before we dive in and find out exactly what drives the market and why when everyone's getting angry, panicked and fearful, it's always the best time to be getting into the market and not the best time to be getting out the market, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to invest in crypto, you should understand that it's risky and you can lose money. So don't risk money that you can't afford to lose and always do your own research. By the way, down below are some different affiliate links for exchanges and things that I use. These links will mean that if you use them, I make a small commission, but at no expense to yourself. Now that we have that legal disclaimer out the way, let's crack on with it. Now guys, I get it. Down below in the comments, across YouTube, etc., there is a lot of panic, anger, fear. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I've seen it all before. He said this was going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Well, it hasn't happened yet, correct. But it doesn't mean that it won't happen. And if you understand what really drives the crypto markets, which I'm going to try and teach you about in this video, then you're going to start to understand why it hasn't happened yet and why that shouldn't really be an issue. Anyway, just before we go and look at the real macro excitement under the hood that drives everything, let's just quickly take a look at a chart and realize why it's not really that bad. You see, the market feels really painful and bad recently because we never really had much of a kind of upside before seeing some sideways. We had a bit of upside and then we went sideways and in fact have gone down. Not only that, just a couple of weeks ago, if you can remember, we had a record liquidation event where the market makers used the opportunity to liquidate over-leveraged people before considering moving the market higher. Now we can see Bitcoin has been in this downward megaphone pattern and is now bouncing in and around this zone. From a purely chart perspective, things don't look that bad. Although, you know, someone down below will be like, well, there's a double top and this and that. Charts ultimately just show a few things. They show the majority of people's thinking, again, with some market maker manipulation and everything else. They don't really show anything. A trend line isn't really a real thing. It's just where people decide that the price might bounce and then they go and try and buy it at that point. Really, the only thing that actually matters is price and sentiment and what people are trying to do. Now, right now, what is everybody trying to do? Because remember, the majority of people get it wrong. The majority of people right now are trying to short the market. How do I know this? Go to coinglass.com and click on this liquidation map. Go down to liquidation map here. And you can see this is the price of Bitcoin right now. And then this is basically all the short positions. Now, this red line here, you can see, tells you that if Bitcoin was to fall to $88,000, it would liquidate $27 million worth of trades, long positions. Now, if you've been around in crypto for at least 4 minutes, you'll realize that $27 million in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money at all. It means that nobody is left going long right now. On the flip side of things, there is over $5 billion of stacked up short positions against the market. So what does this tell you? Well, it tells you that the market makers who go hunting for over-leveraged liquidity, down as well as up, have something to go and hunt for on the other side of things, which is why often we can see very strong quick recoveries when max fear and panic and worry set in, because max fear, panic and worry set in around the same time that everyone starts to go short. So remember, the majority of people in crypto get it wrong. Don't be a sheep here. Start to think more like a wolf. If you're thinking emotionally, that's sheep behavior. Okay, if you're getting angry, upset and whatever else, while it's difficult to not do that, technically this emotion will always put you on the wrong side of the trade. If you think back to when you bought into crypto, chances are you didn't buy in when everybody around you was panicked, fearful and angry. You probably bought in when everyone was hyped, pumped up and excited. We typically do this, which is why we get it wrong. We have an opportunity here to break that loop though and start thinking like a wolf, okay? Remember, the wolf is always thinking different from the sheep. The sheep right now are thinking that the price is going to go lower, which is why often it goes back in the other direction. But that's not enough to convince you why we should be going higher much sooner than many people call for. So in fact, what I'm going to do is take some time to explain to you the macro behind the scenes. Now I get it. Right now, it's taken longer to get here than we expected. In fact, it's taken longer than anyone expected. Here's why. You may have noticed that the United States government is in shutdown, and today, I believe, is a record shutdown length, 35, 36 days. Okay, so no one expected it to last this long, and this is a very important thing because it is castrating this crypto bull market. Okay, it's got our bull market by the nuts right now, and it's not letting go. But as soon as it does let go, things are going to get very exciting indeed. Allow me to explain with the use of this chart. In fact, before I do that, go and give me a follow over on Twitter. It's Peter_THOC. And the reason you should do that is right now, a lot of people who are making videos like this on this particular topic, on this particular website platform, appear to be starting to lose their accounts. For whatever reason, maybe governments, etc., trying to stop people talking about this kind of concept. So if you want to stay up to date with me, even if I lose the right to post videos here, then make sure you give me a follow on Twitter, Peter_THOC. Also, probably will run a giveaway on here, okay? So make sure you sign up to this if you want to go and win a giveaway. And while we're on it, by the way, just down below is a newsletter for the House of Crypto. We're also giving away an airdrop of various different tokens. So if you're feeling worried and panicked and you've lost some money recently, go and sign up for the newsletter down below. Allow me to try and brighten your day with a few airdrops, etc. for some different altcoins. Now, here's why that government shutdown thing really, really matters, and why when that government shutdown gets out of the way, money will flood back into this crypto market, okay? And it's not going to be a sell the news event because no one knows when that shutdown's going to end. Correct? You might think you know, but you probably don't because there's two different parties involved. Very, very complicated. Now, let's piece together why that thing matters. The US has the Federal Reserve. The United States dollar is the global reserve currency. It means that every other currency around the world is basically pegged to this dollar. So whether you like the United States or not, it has a very big implication on your own currency in your own country, how the United States Federal Reserve is doing things. And because of that, the Federal Reserve's movements, etc., have ongoing waves of influence globally. Now, on the bottom, you have a blue line, which represents what's called the reverse repo market. Now, the United States Federal Reserve has two accounts. One is the Treasury General account, which is like a checking account, and the other one is its repo market. This is like a savings account. And yes, if you're an economics teacher or major or whatever, and I get this a little bit wrong, I apologize. But I just want to simplify it into a way that people with minds like myself can really start to grasp and understand why this is actually pretty good for crypto. If you want something more technical, then go and find more technical people to teach you about this. But just for now, just stick with me. The reverse repo is basically what banks, etc., use to store cash at the Federal Reserve when they've got kind of surpluses of money, etc. They can earn small yields on this, interest rates, etc. So they can park money in there, earn themselves 3 or 4% overnight, etc. Now, this basically means that when banks, etc., have got lots of extra cash and they're fearful about times ahead, what they can start to do is move money out of their reserves into their savings account, which is the repo market. So they're putting money away from a rainy day. Back in April 2021, the banks, etc., started to add to this repo market. So it went from 0 all the way up to $2.5 trillion. Now, look at the dates. It started to do this on the very day that Bitcoin started to drop on that first leg up of that bull market. It comes all the way to the bottom of the bear market, and notably, that's when the reverse repo market was at its very tippy top, $2.5 trillion. So, notice this, okay? Bear market, I know that there's this peak, by the way, this kind of little area here, but bull market for repo. So, money is flowing to repo, money is coming out of crypto. When money flows out of repo, where does it go? Exactly. But what you'll see down below is something a little bit concerning for us. Repo market drained from $2.5 trillion down to here. Interestingly, Bitcoin went from $16,000 to $120,000 during that same period of time. Interesting, right? So where's that money gone? A lot of it ended up in Bitcoin, probably ended up in stocks and other places. It's re-entered the market. While we didn't have quantitative easing from the Fed, this was effectively working like quantitative easing. They could inject the liquidity back from the repo market. Right now, however, the repo market is at 0. What does this mean? It means that the Fed now doesn't have any avenue to quietly ease the markets. So what do? I hear you cry. Well, they start to use their Treasury General account, which is their checking account, to start injecting money back into the economy. How do they do this? Well, through paying different salaries, paying different bills, injecting money through various different government spending platforms. But I hear you cry. The government right now is in shutdown. Correct. The repo market's at zero. No money flowing back into the economy. And on top of that, what else? The Treasury General account is in shutdown. Money can't flow from the Treasury General account out into the wide world. That means no liquidity entering the markets. What happens when no liquidity enters the markets? Bitcoin altcoins hate it. They start to fall. People are like, well, why do stocks continue going up but crypto goes down? Good question. Well, because if you think about a stock like Tesla, they actually sell cars. They make money. So money is still going in and out. They're less affected by this liquidity problem in the short term than perhaps Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else, which are effectively only moved around by liquidity. Okay, because there is very little money actually being brought into crypto for services, etc., rendered. Okay, maybe that's for deepened projects that might be able to do that. But the rest of it's just trading amongst itself. It's all basically kind of BS, speculation. Okay, when the speculative stuff, it's high risk. When liquidity is low, high risk stuff goes down. When liquidity starts to increase, high risk stuff starts to go up. But here's where it gets really exciting. Because the repo market is now at zero and the Treasury General account, which is their checking account, is at like 600 billion, that Treasury General account is now stacked up a bunch of cash during this period of time that can't be spent because that shutdown's in play. So as soon as that shutdown finishes, what happens? Treasury General account will pump a load of liquidity very fast out into the markets. What happens? Risk curve goes like that. Bitcoin, altcoins start to rally strongly, but the Treasury General account is not infinitely full of money. So what happens? Eventually, that starts to get drained out. What happens at that point? The government runs out of money. Does it? So it just shuts down again? No. It will start to print money. It reduces interest rates. It starts to print money. It turns on the money printers. Money printers equal crypto bull market. We have seen a different bull market this time round because it's taken a long, long time for us to get to positive liquidity flows. That's why it's taking ages, and no one really expected it, including me, to take this long. But it has taken this long. And it was looking more and more positive until the government shutdown happened back in like 35, 36 days ago. And now we're waiting for that to get out of the way. So yes, it's frustrating, it's difficult, but it's not random. It's all linked to liquidity. Liquidity is the key here. When liquidity is pumping and going up, crypto will go up. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, these coins all pump like crazy. And then guess what? You and me and everyone else who's been running our trades and holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever, starts to make more money. We start to feel more confident because we're maybe getting paid more from our jobs. Maybe we have more savings because there's more money kind of coming into the overall system. And then what do? We start to go after bigger risk because we're pretty good at this game. We start to then invest into mid caps. Then we start to make more money. We start to get into small caps. We tell our friends about crypto because we've been doing well. They come in and they start to buy crypto as well. Markets keep going up, keep going up. We see some really positive news and loads of excitement and everybody's screaming for higher and higher and higher. I tell you that maybe I'm going to start getting out the market because I feel things are overheated. Down in the comments, little Timmy, who's right now this second writing something angry, is going to be telling me I'm an idiot because I'm telling him I'm selling. Those people get it wrong every time. This is exactly the same time, okay? Scary market, just at a very key pivot point. Yes, it's taking a long time, but zoom out, it's really not that bad, okay? Bitcoin is sitting up nice and high. And yes, altcoins have come back down to the ranges that they were at in recent times, okay? Sui is all the way down to where it was back in April. So what? Well, think back to what happened in April from these prices. In a single week, it went up 78%. So what are we panicking about? You can see it's bouncing quite clearly in this current area. You can see this little wick towards the downside, okay? Sui has bounced out of this zone very nicely the last few times it was here. Solana, what's going on? Solana is the same price it was at end of June. Really doesn't look too bad. Over the past few years, if you've been buying into Solana every time that the market was full of fear and panic and worry, like it is down here, you'd be happy. But chances are you did the opposite and you bought into the hype and excitement and everything else, and now you're angry about it, okay? Just have to start understanding the mistakes that we're making on a personal level. I appreciate it's difficult and whatever else, but this is ultimately what it is, okay? Buy when the market is fearful, panicked, and worried, which is what most people don't do, and don't buy when everyone's hyped and excited, which is what everyone does, unfortunately. Now, guys, one thing I've been doing over the past few weeks to try and kind of get the better of these like markets chopping around, etc., through all these different zones, is to run trading bots. Now, if you want to go and check these out, I've created a Telegram link down below. You should go and check it out. It's absolutely free to join up. I made a tutorial video in there about how I've been building trading bots. By using these trading bots, I'm able to DCA into the markets as the price goes down, and then as the price goes up, I'm able to take smaller profits to be able to take some money off the table. This means that if we get stuck in these ranges like we've had for Bitcoin, we've been buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling over the past few months, we're able to make money during that time, whereas most people will just be sat at break even or perhaps just making small losses. This is one of the easiest things to be able to do, and you can also simply copy bots, etc. that I've created if you so wish, but I recommend checking out that tutorial video. It's absolutely free. It's around an hour long, and it will show you exactly how to create your own trading bots for altcoins, Bitcoin, etc. that you can use throughout this bull market ahead. Guys, I hope you found that video useful. Do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're down below, just leave a comment to drown out little Timmy who's sulking, getting all angry. Things will get much better sooner rather than later. Stick with it. See you soon. Bye-bye.